Thanks for tuning in to OPM Live, which is an extension of Ordinary People magazine. Hello, and I hope you guys had an awesome week leading into your weekend. And for those who celebrated, happy Juneteenth. And so, with that, I was trying to figure out just what I really wanted to talk about before we get to our guest. But let me do something. I always forget to thank our sponsors. And our sponsors for the show of this show is Vimashi Enterprise, Southern Eagle Music Group, It's a Ray's Vision, REY apostrophe S, and Gemstones and Trinkets. But this week has really been, I want to say, an emotional week for me. It was like I just could not get out of this funk that I found myself in. I woke up, I guess it might have been Monday. I was missing my parents so much. It was so unbelievable that I was just it's like I was craving to hear their voice. I was craving to feel my father arms around me, to talk with him about, world's events because he was such an inspiration. Let me calm myself down because I could feel myself getting into tears. And he was such an inspiration to me, my father was. I could talk with him about any and everything. And my mother the same way. And I was missing them so much this weekend. This week, it took me a few days, to get myself together and talk to my children. Talking to different people and just trying to get myself together and uh, taking a time to sit, be calm, uh, listening to God, talking with God about it. Uh, and I said, you never get too old to miss the comfort of your parents. We think that our parents are going to be with us forever and always. Even at 60 years old, I miss my parents. I can honestly say I was a daddy's girl. I mean, he was the one that told me that I was beautiful and I never looked back. So, uh, yeah. So, for those that may not have their parents at this time, I could say just, speak to God about it, uh, do memories, any type of photo books you may have of your parents. You can go through those, look through them as I did, and reminiscing about some of the things my mother and I talked about, some of the things my father and I may have discussed. Just looking at their photos brought me comfort, and it helped me to get through. I can actually say it really helped me. So, yeah. And as we go through our week, let's just talk to God about whatever we need. But we are talking to independent authors all week, or we have been talking to independent authors all week. And today, our guest is Miss Laticia Nicole Beatty. She is an author, an independent author. I believe she's been author of about 4 or 5 books. And so she is our guest today, and we are going to bring her in. Uh, let's get her in. Oh, there you are. Hi, how are you doing, Miss Beatty?
I am doing well, and I'm so excited to be here with you.
And
And
I go ahead.
and look, I'm going to say, because this is such a blessing to be here with you, but it's also a blessing that I can call you Sarah Verna Nickelberry.
Yes, Laura. Yes, Laura. I can remember when we first met. It was amazing. The energy that and my hair is standing on edge now. It's like you got this energy that just comes. I mean, I won't say it's hard to be around you, but your spirit is just what it is. It's so you can actually feel it. You're such a wonderful person, and I definitely enjoyed meeting you. And so thankful that you are in my life and in my path as I move forward. So, as I stated earlier to our watching our viewers, that we are interviewing authors, and you are one that has authored many books and maybe a couple of children books as well.
Absolutely. My
Okay, so go ahead.
my first children's book, I Am Beautiful. And I just heard you talking about how your dad made you feel beautiful. So that when you said that, it just pierced my heart because in this book is my mom, but we'll get to that.
Oh yeah, I mean, uh, I hear some of the stories about dark skinned girls, and I'm a dark skinned girl, how they didn't feel a certain way. But my dad told me I was beautiful, and so I didn't, that was it for me because I believe whatever he said. So if you don't mind, just a little bit sharing, just a little bit about yourself with our audience as we get started.
Absolutely. So, you guys, my name is Laticia Nicole Beatty, and I am a CEO founder of a nonprofit organization called Purpose Professionals. I also have a LLC, which is Leticia Nicole Enterprise, aka Speak Life Enterprise, where we teach powerful words to entrepreneurs so they can shape their reality in business. But I'm also a life coach where my purpose and mission is to teach women and girls how to conquer their fears so they could be all that God designed them to be. I am a minister of the gospel, but we're all ministers of reconciliation. But I'm also an evangelist where it's a pull to go tell the world about the goodness of God. And what else? I'm a nursing home administrator where I have 200 employees. I recently went back March 23rd, and we all know about COVID, so I won't go into that. That's a whole nother interview and story. But I'm always a work in progress. And I just want to tell people that they can do it if they try and not to give up on them. So thank you so much for having me today.
Wow, you are a busy bee. Where do you find the time? It's only 24 hours in a day. So where do you find the time?
You
That's
know, when you work unto, and I know you that you know the word of God, but when you work unto the Lord and not unto the people, it doesn't feel like a job, right? It just feels like a
right.
calling. And many are chosen, but few are called, right? Or did I say that?
Right.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a calling, and I just can't help it. If when I'm not doing anything, I'm feeling like, wait a minute, what am I? Get up. Somebody need to hear about the goodness of God. Somebody need to be fed. Somebody need to be clothed. Somebody just need a smile. So and I feel like that is my mission, just to show love. I always say love with the love of the Lord and forgive like you want to be forgiven. And I believe the best way, don't just say it, but show it, right?
Absolutely.
So I got to keep going. I can't shut up. The enemy want me to shut up. He said,
Absolutely.
so that's all I can have. I'm gonna say about that because I can talk because faith comes by hearing, and everybody that's listening need to hear that you got something to do. But go ahead, Miss Fern.
Absolutely. Yes. If we wake up, when we wake up in the morning, if we wake up in the morning, or when he wakes you up in the morning, you know that you have something to do. You absolutely know. And that's a blessing to wake up every morning. Okay. So you're a writer. Uh, I do remember your first book. I believe I have that book. But how many books have you written so far? And which is your favorite?
Ooh, I'm gonna get in trouble today. So I've actually written 5 books thus far,
That's cool.
and now the first book that you have is the 100-day devotional. That used to be my favorite book. Okay, it used to be my favorite book, but then I Am Beautiful crept up to
Wow.
speak life to that seed, to the little girls, and it has stolen my heart. And it just took my heart because so many little girls need to be spoken life into. And I know we're going to elaborate more on that, but our stories, His Glory, pretty much came out like 3 months after I Am Beautiful, and it's just impacting little girls around the world. I mean, This book has made it to Kuwait. This book has made it
Wow.
to Jamaica. This book has made it to, and it's shaping little girls' lives where they're telling their moms, "I am beautiful."
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm really ready to get into that book. I am beautiful. So I'm just going to ask you two more questions. I have a array of questions on my list, but I really like that title. I am beautiful. I don't have any daughters, so like I say, I don't have any daughters, just my sons. But I always told them how handsome they was. So maybe I can find them in that story with little girls.
Yeah.
So, what is the most surprising thing you discover while writing your books or one of your books?
Well, as I spoke about in my first book, and it hasn't changed, as I write and I'm sharing my stories, I'm actually speaking life back into myself, right? And as I'm speaking life to me, it's going out into others. So I'm sharing the word of God, and I'm sharing how I am overcoming, right? And so we both know that Revelations 12:11 say we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony, that I not shrink to death, that I love life so much, right? So I don't be so embarrassed about my stories that I don't tell other people. And so I've learned that when I'm authentically me, and when I'm transparent, I can help somebody else get to the other side because I become the blueprint, right? So as I'm writing, I am pretty much just sharing my story so God can get the glory and help somebody else.
Wow, I like that when you said your authentic self, authentically you. I love that. But do you see that most people are not being their authentic self when they're speaking or when they're coming in contact with others? Uh, do you see that a lot?
Unfortunately, yes. A lot of times people take on other people personalities or their speaking ways, so because they see that they made it, right? And
Right.
so then they're not showing their authentic self, which they're leaving the generation that's attached to them behind, because people can identify with you if you are who God created you to be. And but when you're trying to speak like Juanita Bynum or TD Jakes, or you're trying to be Tyler Perry, you're trying to be Oprah Winfrey, when are they going to be able to find a Leticia Nicole Beatty? If I'm trying to be somebody else, somebody might say, "Oh, she's wild, she's crazy. You never know what she's gonna do." I'm gonna do whatever God tells me to do, and I'm gonna be who He called me to be. It took me a long time, and that's why we don't talk about people that generally take on others' personalities, because it took me a long time to like my authentic voice, to know that it was good enough, right? And some people just don't have the confidence, and that's what I teach as a coach. I'm a confidence builder, right? Confidence mastermind builder, because it takes a long time after you've been through oppression or been told that you're not good enough or been feeling like you wasn't good enough. It takes some time to change that mindset and that behavior.
Hmm. Hmm. I can see that. I can see that someone takes on another person's persona, the personality, and maybe they just don't know how. They don't know how to get there, which is unfortunate. Which is very unfortunate. Okay, so who is your favorite character? Which one is your favorite character? I believe we already know.
Oh
I
my
believe we
goodness. Well,
already know.
my favorite character is Joy. Okay.
Joy.
And the reason why Joy is my favorite character, I want y'all to look real good at Joy.
It's a
Joy,
beautiful cover.
thank you. Thank you. Joy is me. Leticia means joy.
Oh,
My name means joy. So joy is me. This is a real story. This is a true story. But and my mother in this book is my mother. My mother, it's a story behind this, but this is mom, this is mommy, and this is joy, and that is me. So when I was a little girl, My mother will always tell me that I was pretty. And I'll say, no, I'm not. I'll always say, no, I'm not. Always, if she was on here right now, and I believe she is, she'll let everybody know. The first thing I will always say, because I'm only child, I'll say, no, I'm not, all the time about anything. So she would tell me I was pretty. And I would tell her, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And she would try to make ways to make me believe that I was pretty. But what I understand about words, if you don't believe them for yourself, you won't manifest that. You won't even you won't bring that into the environment that you're in if you are not confident in who you are. So for a long time, as a child, I was very shy. I wouldn't speak up for myself. I wouldn't talk for myself. I wouldn't, I'll kind of shy down because I thought everybody else was pretty and not me. I can find something beautiful in everyone else other than myself. And so that's what this book talks about. And it tells the story of Joy, which is Leticia, and my mom, and how, I found beauty in all of my friends. And my mom had to show me and tell me that I was beautiful too. Now, how I Am Beautiful came about, for it was actually I Am Pretty, right? So the publishing company, they said, well, pretty is kind of shallow. People don't say pretty no more. Now, back in 1974, right? Maybe back in
All the way back.
maybe back in 1980, but people don't say beautiful. I mean, it's pretty anymore. It sounds very shallow. And so they talked about, I am beautiful. And I was like, a lot of people say I am beautiful. I didn't want to seem like nobody else because I am pretty. But then I also understood how the word pretty could be shallow, almost like happy. Happy depends on what's happening. We got joy, unspeakable joy, and peace that surpasses all understanding. So I got it when it comes to words. So, but I left her name Joy. Her name ain't Bonita. Her name is Joy. I am beautiful.
I like that. I like that. Okay, so let's get into the book. So you have introduced us to Joy. You've given us a background about how the book came about. So what I want to know now, would you like reading just a little bit from your book so we can get a good feel for Joy?
Absolutely. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you for asking me that. Okay. So, and I'll start right here at the beginning where I said, I am beautiful, right? But then I'm going to turn and you can see me not looking in the mirror because I didn't always think so. And I didn't like to look in the mirror.
Beautifully illustrated. I love it.
Thank you. Mama told me, Joy, you are so beautiful. But I didn't believe her. No, I'm not. That's my no, I'm not. No, I'm not, I said. My skin is too dark and my braids are too short. None of the girls in my class look like me. None of the girls in my class dress like me. And none of the girls in my ballet class have hair like mine.
Wow.
So I told her about Ashley. Ashley is beautiful. She has curly brown hair and the eyes of grandma's hot cocoa, I said to Mama. My mother asked me, what else do you like about Ashley? And here I am telling her, how beautiful Ashley is, right? And I told her that Ashley shares her snacks with me. So she's kind, asked Mama. Yes, I said. Do you share your snacks with Ashley? Yes, of course, I said. Then you're kind. Yeah, I guess so.
You are kind.
So I talk about different characters in this book and how beautiful they are and how their eyes. Elizabeth is beautiful because she has golden hair and beautiful brown eyes. And Mommy says, what else do you like about Elizabeth? I said, she is so smart. I said that she can count to 1,000. Mommy asked, can you count to 1,000? Yes, I can. Then you're smart too. Yeah, I guess so. So you are beautiful too, my mother said. No, I'm not. So I've always found beauty in everyone else. And it was the neighborhood that I grew up in. My best friends was Audrey, Rosie, and Angie, right? And I was the only African American. Audrey was mixed, so she had this pretty mixed hair, right? Rosie and Angie were blonde hair, blue eyed. So we would take turns going skating. I would go to their skating rink and we'd be Shaka in your true name. You give love a bad name. And I'm skating with them. And then we go to our skating rink, African American hip, hop, hip, hip, and then they're skating. So it's like when I went to their skating rink, I didn't fit in. But then when I went to what we called our African American skating rink, I also felt like I didn't fit in. I never felt pretty enough.
Wow.
And so I kind of I wanted to tell that story, and it actually I wrote this book. I lived it, but I wrote it 3 years ago.
Wow.
So
I can see that. So when did you, Leticia, realize that you're actually beautiful? When did it hit you that you are beautiful, you are kind, and you are smart? When did it hit you? At what age?
okay, I hope everybody's sitting down because when all of those hit me, like I am smart, I am beautiful, I am kind. It was recently, like within the last 5 years. Um, when I first started Livingstone College back in 1992, I was in all remedial classes. I tested in remedial classes, so I was labeled remedial. That means not good enough. To me, that means dumb, right? I
Yeah.
was in remedial um, algebra, remedial chemistry, remedial English, and so I was labeled and I believed it. I later then transferred to Winston-Salem State University, where I graduated with honors in nursing. And I went further and got my my master's degree in business. And now I am actually in my first year. I'm entering my, second year of my doctoral degree um, in
You'll make
entrepreneurship.
me cry.
And so I I just began looking at myself within the last 5 years and said, "Oh my God, you are smart. You are pretty. It's you're pretty. You're the only you. You look like you." And so it just embracing myself and embracing my own voice. Because so many times when I'm like I'm actually a model. I'm actually a teacher, and I graduated from John Casablanca, where I teach modeling and speaking, creating monologues and commercials. And when they told me, they was like, "I know you are a student and you just graduated, but we need you to be a teacher as well." So I mean, when you hearing these words and you're like, "What?" Like they're like, "No, like you got it." So I'm actually in a showcase so I'm signed with John Casablanca, but I'm also signed with another agency, Model and Talent Management, and I'm actually signed with 3 agencies. And so I'm going to be showcasing later on this year with a bunch of people coming from everywhere, movies, and so they can see the talent. But I didn't believe that a long time ago. So I'm thankful that I'm finally seeing it and I'm finally believing it, and not only believing it, but making other people see it in them. So
That's really amazing. I would have never thought that meeting you more than 5 years ago, I believe. I would have never thought because you spoke, you was introducing your book and you were just so kind. I just never would have thought that. But I am so glad that you yourself finally got it that you are beautiful, you are smart, and you are kind.
thank you.
I like that. So now I want to know a little bit about the book that's behind you
Which
with the
one?
little girl on the cover.
The I Am Beautiful? That's not.
No, Oh, okay. No, you talk about another one with scriptures in it, I believe.
Oh, okay. So the 100-day devotional, and all of my books are scripturally based, but they're telling true stories. Some of them are anthologies. Like right now, I'm actually working on it. I Am Beautiful Too, with as an anthology for little girls from 5 to 12, where they can share their stories. Because after I realized there was so many other little girls that didn't feel pretty because of the color of their skin, little brown girls, um, or not liking their hair. It was one little girl, she was mixed, and was wearing wigs at 7 because she didn't like her hair. And
And what's the name of that book?
this is I Am Beautiful, but this is 100-day devotional. So this
Uh-huh.
is teaching women and men. I'm going to let you know. It says Speak Life helps women and men develop a consistent devotional habit and transform their daily affirmations into the life that they deserve. Now, this book is comprised of 100 days, and it's actually speaking life to your health, your wealth, your finances, and your relationships, right? So it's actually, and it's a journal. You can journal. So give me a day. Pick a day. Pick any day between 1 to 100.
Uh, Day, like day or number.
Number
Okay, let's go with 20.
20. Let's see what 20. Okay, so I'm gonna go to day 20. Woo! Okay, so day 20 says Jeremiah 33:6. Behold, I will bring to it health and healing, and I will heal them and reveal to them the abundance of prosperity and security. And then I wrote a reflection. Now, this is the reflection that God gave me. God intended for you to be both healthy and wealthy. He said that He will bring health and healing, revealing an abundance of prosperity and security. Never underestimate God. He is working while you're sleeping. But then I put a goal in here and I said, what burden, stress, or illness do you need God to handle? And then I said, who else in your life could benefit from an emotional and or physical healing? Pray for yourself and that person, making sure to quote today's scripture. Now, I always say quote the scripture and say it out loud, because faith comes by hearing and hearing. So you might hear me saying scriptures over and over and over again. That's so it can get embedded into our subconscious, which is leading our conscious. So then we have where they can journal. So
That's fantastic. Can I pick another one?
yes.
Okay, let's go with 69.
All right, 69. Day 69. Now you know I enjoy stuff like this. Now day 69. Day 69 says, that's Galatians 3:10. Galatians 3:10. For all who rely on works of law are under a curse. Listen.
Oh,
For it is written, cursed be everyone who does not abide by all things written in the book of the law and do them. Now, my reflection, now listen to this. Every morning you wake up, you must prepare yourself to deal with relationships with yourself, God, family, friends, business, partners, etc. Therefore, it is important to speak life over your day prior to getting out of bed. Now, you got to speak the word of God even before you leave the house, before you get out of the bed. You got to speak it so
absolutely.
you line up. So the goal was repeat after me. Today is a great day. I have joy and peace. I am blessed and healthy. I am wealthy and wise. I'm not what or who I used to be. Come on here. Somebody needed to say that.
Come on now.
Okay, because you got your remember when friends, but don't nobody remember when better than you. And you will, okay, we can go there later. But
Wait a minute, repeat that. You remember when friends?
Your remember when friends. You know, you got to remember when friends that like to make you remember when you were broke and broken and when you were down and out. And they'll remind you too. You're coming, you're on a come up. Be like, girl,
Girl,
you remember Mr.
girl,
Chuck?
don't make me want to win. They may remind me when, but then I get an opportunity to remind them of the goodness of God.
Come on
Hey,
here.
you saw me there. You ain't paying no attention to me where I am right now.
Oh, tell them the
You
truth.
saw me there. Mm-hmm.
I love letting people know if you knew me yesterday, you don't know me today because everything is new. Everything is new in the morning. Okay.
Everything.
Everything is new. I got a brand new grace, brand new mercy, brand new strength, fresh new wind. You don't know me no more.
You don't know me. You don't know me. Oh my gosh. I'm having a wonderful time speaking with you. Now you have one more book. You have one more to share?
Absolutely. So, oh boy. So our story is his glory. This is my latest book. It came out right after. Actually, this is the last book that just came out. And woo! And I'll actually, and it's a 15 authors, including myself. And I'm actually doing our stories his glory part 2 because there's so many people that wanted to share their stories. So I'm going to keep doing this book until God tells me to stop.
Fantastic.
I'm going to keep doing it because there's more people that have stories to help somebody else. So if you don't mind, I would like to read just a little bit of it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my chapter is called, now before I even get to my chapter, this is the first cover that I designed myself. God showed me this, gave me this cover with our hands lifted up in the sun, and who the sun set free is free indeed. And his glory is written in red because of the blood of God that set us free, that redeemed us, that saved us, right? So our stories, his glory, because by that blood, we're able to live. Come on here, somebody. I need you to hear me. To live and go through the story. You know, I'm a preacher. I can't help it.
Go ahead, girl.
Go through
You're not bothering me at all.
So
I'm just being for real. You're not bothering me at all. So go right ahead.
Yes,
that's what this is. That's what this show is about. Just to be yourself. So go right ahead. Be yourself, babe.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm just going to tell you that our story, his glory, this is a Speak Life series because as many of you even out there right now, you have stories that kept you down when somebody else need to hear how you got up. Okay, so absolutely. I'm going to I need everybody to go ahead and take a deep breath when I tell you the title of my story.
Go ahead.
The production power of pain.
Oh, wow.
Okay. The production power of pain. So I'm just going to read a little bit of my story. Are you really being a good mom, a good wife, a good director, a good minister? Or are you hyper focusing on the hat you wear to avoid the hurt you bear? I asked myself that question. I was at home on my computer trying to write this book when the realization hit me and I had to stop. I wasn't telling the whole story. Now, that doesn't mean that I was lying, but I wasn't telling the whole story. I was holding back just enough to be on the side of victorious rather than being a victim. It was essentially the same thing I'd done in my first book, which has yet to be published. Ha! Come on here. I need you to hear me. It was getting too real. My first book, I didn't even publish because there was so much pain in it. I blamed so many people for what I was feeling. The rapists, the molesters, the people that made fun of me, my cousins that picked on me. I couldn't publish that book. People wouldn't talk to me to this day. So I stored it away and published something safer instead. Woo! I'm going to stop right there. The production power of pain.
The production power of pain.
See, everything God does is going to end up good. What the enemy meant for bad, God will use for our good. Pain
Absolutely.
will literally push you into your purpose if you allow it. That I'm gonna read
Go
one more.
ahead. Go ahead.
My God from Zion. Woo! The most shocking light bulb click, though, was realizing that not only am I holding back on paper, but I'm standing in the way of my healing. I'm not dealing with my pain. I'm hiding in production. Instead of dealing with the things that are hurting me, I'm producing something else to be proud of. I knew it was something I dealt with as a child, wanting approval. Then again, as a college student who studies hard to prove to everyone wrong, who said I would amount to nothing but a stripper, I realized that day, though, that my issue of needing to prove myself worthy wasn't past tense. It was still a current issue. Since 2014, I am mused over 100 awards. That's a proud moment, no doubt. But if you zoom in a little closer, you'll see that I also started writing my first book, the unpublished one, about the year before the avalanche of awards. In that story, that untold story, I wrote about things like being ridiculed and molested and assaulted and almost losing my life. I successfully tucked those memories and feelings away for so long. Now here they were in my face again. Although I didn't publish that particular book, I released another in addition to working my behind off on the job. It was my way of evading emotions that didn't feel so good. So
Powerful.
the production power of pain.
Powerful. How did you come up with that title?
The Lord gave it to me. It's the Lord gave it to me as I was reading about there's a certain thorn. Somebody had a thorn on they side. It kept them humble in the Bible. I won't even go into it, but he had a thorn, right? Now some people say the thorn was he was ugly. Now that's what they say, but I don't know what it was, but it was a thorn
Absolutely. Yes.
kept him humble. And I believe like all my life I've always been a giver. I didn't know when we was poor because my mother kept Vaseline on my legs. I always stayed shined up. I looked good in my clothes, and I didn't know when I went outside. I used to give my clothes away. Right? She bought me some kangaroo boots. Not back, back in the day, kangaroo boots, and the little girl didn't have boots, and I snuck them outside and gave them to her. My mama looked outside. She said, "Is that Audrey in your purple boots? If you don't get your boots, she bought me some boots." So I've always considered other people more, not myself more than somebody else. So I think as I grew up, I just started helping. I just wanted to help so many people. But then in helping people, you got to realize that you got to be able to receive help yourself. And so when I started writing help books, God was allowing me to write the words to myself to help me, but to help others. So all of these books, healing toxic habits. My toxic habit was anger. I did a lot of things angry. Unsilenced, faces of domestic violence. All of these books, all five of these books, and I know God is not done yet. It's so many stories in me, and I'm going to speak it out into existence. You're going to see more movies. I know I was in the film Head Ladies in Charge. Our Stories, His Glory. All of these things. I just believe that they're supposed to be on a big screen because not everybody are readers. Even though I believe that leaders are readers. But when I was younger, you couldn't pay me $1,000 to read a book. So,
And now you are a published author many times over. That's fantastic. That is so fantastic. So, is there anything that you would like to maybe any inspiration that you can give to young writers, inspiring writers, as they try or as they attempt to get on this journey of being an entrepreneur and a writer? Is there anything
Absolutely.
that you would like to say?
Give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance. As you believing in everyone else, and I always say how people when they want to get with, folks where they can have photo ops and say, I took a picture
Oh
with that,
yeah.
or I was around this person. Be the person that you want to take a picture with. Develop those qualities within yourself because they're there. You have gifts. I'm trying not to preach this. I want to teach this. We are one body, and my
Mm-hmm.
eye has never competed with my pinky toe.
Thank
They,
God.
they both have a function, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when the pinky toe does his function, it keeps me balanced. And when my eye is not competing with the pinky toe, I can see. So all of us have a function in this one body.
Mm-hmm.
So ask the Lord, what purpose do you serve? And then I bet you realize that it's some gifts because he's given 9 spiritual gifts, but he's given us all gifts, right? But you will be able to find out what is that one thing that you do without even trying. I motivate, inspire without even trying. I'm passionate about what I'm talking about. So I know when I do that, it doesn't feel like work. It's just something that I'm passionate about. You have something that God gave you. He gave us all the power to get wealth, but he said, may you prosper as your soul prospers. So
Amen.
if you're prospering and you're miserable, that's not what the Lord meant for you to do.
Mm-hmm.
May you prosper as your soul prosper, because when your soul prosper, you multiply,
Mm-hmm.
not divide. You don't divide people. So I truly believe if you ask God, what is the gift that you possess that he gave you? Or I know I'm gonna sound so cliche-ish. When I look back over my life and I think things over, I can truly say that I am blessed. I got a testimony. You got a testimony.
That's not cliche. That's truth. But you got the opportunity to look back. I mean, some people don't even want to remember their past. They don't want to remember what happened. But remembering what happened and then where you are now could be a very good thing. So that's not cliche at all. When you look back, when I look back, taking a look back, that's gonna send me somewhere. Let me calm my own self down.
Come on. I go right there with you because we both could have been dead and gone. People don't know, that I've been.
Girl.
They don't know that I've been drugged. They don't know that when I was going to the club after I left, then it got shot up. Come on, people need to hear about that, and that's what I mean by being authentic. Everybody want to be hello, my name. I got good kind of back here. Good team. And everybody want to be, sophisticated and guys. But when I truly tell you what I've gone through, I don't look like what I've been through.
Praise God. Yes.
But
Yes.
everybody
Because
has.
our testimonies are not for us. They are for others.
Come on,
They're for others. They're not for us.
they are.
I mean, if you can share your story, that's a good thing. And not hold anything back, not hide anything. I mean, people don't know that I was almost homeless. Homeless. You're homeless when you don't have your own address, no matter who you living with. When
Come on.
you don't have your own address. I'm 60 years old and life happens to me when I was in my late 50s. That's not supposed to happen because I've already been on a job over 20 some years. I've already got the degree, whatever, all of that stuff already, and life happens. You know how devastating that is when you're 55, 56, 57, 58, because you're supposed to have already accomplished, or you have accomplished. Now you have your grandbabies and you're living life and you can retire all of that. But when it happens in a later age, you're embarrassed. Let me tell you, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to tell people I was catching a lift to church. I've
My,
always had a car since I was 18 years old, and I don't mean a hoopty.
come on.
So, I mean, I've lived outside of the U.S., but when life happened to me, I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed because it's not supposed to happen at that age. And I cried and I asked God, why now?
Mm,
My children are grown, so why now? So yes, our testimonies can help others because you think you're the only one that happened to until you begin to share.
until you
We
begin.
don't went to a whole nother thing. So
But it's
let's
real. It's so real until you begin to share. So I know you want to talk about books. Unsilence. Faces of Domestic Violence. No one would have ever thought that I would wrote this. I've been married now for this year, it'll be 21 years. Okay. So when people read this book, and I actually did a book signing I did with this book. Actually I did it at on Borders, right? And a lot of people were there and they didn't, they're like, wait a minute, when was she beaten? I mean, why did Tony, when did this happen? And so before I even wrote this, I got my husband's permission because we were separated for like 3, 4 years. And I called myself dating. And that's where I experienced domestic violence. That's how my nose got broken. That's how my forehead was protruding and I looked like the elephant man. That's when I went through that. But I got my husband's permission to help somebody else because I wouldn't have never thought of myself as a battered woman because I was fighting too. I felt I felt like Tina Turner back in the limo. I thought I was doing something. I was fighting back, but I was battered. I was abused because I didn't see my own worth. But I needed somebody to read that so they can see, hey, this is how you get out, and this is how you get out alive. This book is telling you how to get out alive. Call the National Domestic Violence, all the numbers in here, the hotline numbers. It's telling you what to write down, what you need on the job in public. I can inform my boss, the security supervisor, and it's letting you fill in, but it doesn't look, it's faces of domestic violence because you never know what to look for unless you read it. Because people can put Maybelline Fashion Fair, MAC on a lot of stuff and cover it up, but God wants us to get happy for real, joy for real. We can paint on a smile with some lipstick. We can paint it on real pretty and be sad. So unsilenced faces of domestic violence was something I had to get over you and say, people waiting on you to get over you, boo. You ain't the only one that has gone through something, that was going through separation, almost divorce. You're not the only one. So now the older women should be teaching the younger women.
that's word right there. That's the word. That's the word right there. That's the word. Okay, I believe I see a couple of questions on the side, and forgive me for those who, because we didn't stop to answer, but someone asked, uh, Brianna Kelly, how can I get your book for my daughter?
Go on
So
Leticia Nicole Books with an S.com. Leticia, Laticia, Nicole, Nicole, books with an S, Books.com. Leticia Nicole Books.
I see someone have it here. Uh, I don't want to pronounce the name wrong. Mrs. Ham, Hamm. She has it in here for you. So, Miss Leticia, it has been such a pleasure having you on as my guest. I have truly, truly, truly enjoyed you and everything that you have shared. This has been an awesome, awesome interview. So, again, thank you so much for sharing your book with us. Thank you for reading your books. I mean, I really enjoyed it. That was one of the things my seventh grade English teacher would do. Always read to us. And I think I have really, as an adult, has really come to enjoy that, reading someone else reading, and I'm just listening and taking it all in. So thank you so much, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate everything that you are doing in your communities and all the many entities that you have, everything you involved in. So we look forward to hearing from you and everything that you got going on. We want to be able to hear from you. How can our audience connect with you?
All right. Well, I'm Laticia Nicole on Facebook. Leticia Nicole Speak Life on Instagram. I also have a website, LeticiaNicole.com. Leticia Speaks on Twitter and on LinkedIn, Leticia Nicole Beatty. And so I look forward to just meeting and hearing all of you because this has been amazing. But before I let you go,
Okay.
I want to show you what's behind me. I just thought about it.
Oh, our servant award. You
Thank
were one of
you.
our recipient last year.
Yes, yes. And thank you for your dedication to your community. 2019. And I never got to personally look at you in your face and say,
Oh,
thank you. The elderly is my heart. I love the elderly, so it's something that I've been. My initiative is to feed them every year and adopt them. I adopted a nursing center. Now it's a tower here of 300 elderly where we cook for them, where we cater and we go and they allow me to preach and talk and sing and hug, just to love on them. So thank you for that.
no, it was definitely our pleasure. And we appreciate you for everything that you do in your community. So, with that, so we will be speaking with you soon, Miss Leticia. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Okay, God bless.
God bless.
So we had such an awesome, awesome time speaking with Miss Leticia. She's such an awesome person. And with that, we are going to read from Jesus Calling. Last week we read from Jesus Calling, and after each show we read a scripture. But I am loving this book, Jesus Calling, not Jesus is Calling, but Jesus Calling, Enjoying Peace in His Presence by Sarah Young. And so I believe I'm going to read from this book for the rest of the year, and it has the scripture that goes along with it. And so today is June 20th, and it reads, I speak to you continuously. My nature is to communicate, through not always in words. I fling glorious sunsets across the sky day after day after day. I speak in the faces and voices of loved ones. I caress you with a gentle breeze that refreshes and delights you. I speak softly in the depth of your spirit, where I have taken up residence. You can find me in each moment when you have your eyes that sees and your ears that hear. Ask my spirit to sharpen your spiritual eyesight and hearing. I rejoice each time you discover my presence. Practice looking and listening for me during quiet intervals. Gradually, you will find me in more and more of your moments. Will you seek me and find me? When you seek me above all, let me reread that. You will seek me and find me when you seek me above all else. And the scriptures are Psalms 8, 1 through 4, Psalms 19, 1 through 2, 1 Corinthians 6, 19, Jeremiah 29 and 13. And again, thank you so much for tuning in to OPM Live. And as always, love, peace, and increase, and be blessed. And until next time, talk with you later. Bye bye.